Hey, gentlemen, y'all got to put those up for right now. Put them up for right now.
Story starts out, this fifth grade student, her name was Stacy. She was a hard worker, persistent and far from lazy. She often made mistakes and she breaking would drive her crazy. And her mindset was fixed on the fact that the teachers praised me. She was told she was smart, she was told she was talented, but when it came to challenges, she felt she couldn't handle it. Teachers praised her so much that she couldn't work for it. She couldn't meet the standard, so she started to hurt more. She was used to comparison, started to get arrogant. She developed a fixed mindset and wasn't aware of it. Her teachers praised her as a person instead of the process. She felt she had to be perfect instead of making progress. She felt she didn't measure up, had feelings for herself. A growth mindset was the goal, but had feelings on herself. We learned to praise the process and make sure we do it right. We can watch these students shine and take off into their flight.
All right. Praising the process. Okay, praising the process. And basically what we're talking about is the process is hard work. The process is studying. The process is the grind that we have to put in as we going on that road to being successful. So we praise the process, and we don't necessarily praise how intelligent you are, how smart you are. We praise the process. Okay, and the praising the process sounds like, Michaela, you're working so hard on that project. You know, praising the process, saying that I love the strategies that you use to come up with the answer that you have. And so by praising the process, when things get difficult and tough, because you understand that there's a process involved, normally most people don't give up when they're constantly praised for the process. When they're constantly praised because of how smart they are, when they get to something they don't know, okay, they tend to shut down. Because in their mind they think that, hey, I'm not as smart as everybody has been saying I am because I don't know this. Okay, so that song has to do with praising the process. Now, today we're doing part 3 of Leaving Legacies, Breaking the Disconnect Between Parents and the Millennials. And this is the book that my friend and colleague Glendora Dvine wrote so that she can help parents. You know, she's a licensed counselor, and that's what she does. She works with parents, and she helps parents and their children begin to break that disconnect that is between them. Okay? And now, on the other day, we talked about the first parenting. We talked about authoritarian parenting. Okay? And we talked about how it did have the one positive, but it has so many negatives till it would not be the type of parenting style that we recommend. And today we're going to talk about authoritative parenting. Okay, and we're going to talk about what that is. This is what authoritative parenting looks like. Parents establish rules and guidelines their children are expected to follow. So, authoritative parents, they sit down and they establish rules and guidelines that the kids will follow. Just like we do in the classroom for the first 2 or 3 weeks of school. The number one thing we're doing is we're talking about rules. Okay? Listen when others are talking. Follow direction. Keep hands and feet an object to yourself. Work quietly and do not disturb others. Those are the rules for the first 3 weeks of school that we work on. And we go through them. I model them to you. And when you're not operating in those rules, guess what? I call you on it. And so that's what authoritative parents do. They sit down with their kids and they make the rules that the kids are expected to follow. Okay? Authoritative parents, that's what it looks like. These parents set guidelines and rules. Okay? Michaela, that's what authoritative parents do. They're more democratic than authoritarian parents. More democratic. That means, to be democratic means that you allow others into the process. And so they allow their kids into the process of them setting the guidelines and rules. All right? Authoritative parenting. Another thing that they do, in this structure, it looks like this. Children expect structure and guidelines from their parents, and they're looking for ways to assist their parents in establishing the system. Okay, how many of you guys get a chance to sit down with your parents and discuss your rules and guidelines and stuff like that? Anybody? One person? Everybody else, the parents just tell you you're going to do it the way I say do it? Okay? Guidelines. You sit down with your parents to make the guidelines? Okay, good. Good, good. So, but this is what it is, because again, kids want to be a part of that process, all right? Okay, another thing, parents set rules that are not based on emotions, but on clear, concise thoughts that add value to the family as a whole. See, parents in the authoritative parenting style, they set rules that are not based on emotions. Why? Because emotions get us in trouble, Akayla. A lot of times when we act on emotions, it gets us in trouble. Okay? That's how a lot of young people get suspended from school, because they act on their emotions. They act on their emotions. And as parents, when we act on our emotions, you know, sometimes our emotions get us in trouble. Okay? Because I remember talking to a young lady before. You know, she had been dealing with this guy, right? And she thought she was in love with this guy, right? But she didn't pay attention to the signs, though. He never liked to work. He was lazy. He always lied. Okay? But because she was in love, she overlooked a lot of those other things that the person wasn't doing. And so those emotions can get us into trouble sometimes. And it's the same way with parenting. When we make rules up because we're mad, you know, one time the kid do something and we make a rule off of that, you know, it's not going to go there. Okay, so authoritative parents do this. They make rules that are not based on emotions, but on clear, concise thought that add value to the family. So they sit down and they look at, how is this rule going to affect my kids later on down the line? Okay? It's not based on emotions. It's based on, you know, how is this going to affect the person later on down the line? Okay? Authoritative parents. Okay, another thing. These parents are responsive to their children, and they're willing to listen to their children's questions, and are interested in their children's daily activities. So, authoritative parents, Janet, are willing to listen to their kids. They're willing to listen to their kids. They listen to the suggestions sometimes that their kids have. They listen. Okay? That's what authoritative parents do. They listen with their kids. They listen to their kids. All right? Not only that, you know, they're responsive to their children, but they're interested in their daily activity. They show up to things. When the kid gets a reward, okay, they show up. When a kid has football practice, they show up. When a kid has basketball practice, they show up. Okay, that's what authoritative parents do. They're interested and they're involved with their kids' life. All right. Hey, Janet, don't do that, because believe it or not, that sound will get into the video. Okay, so another thing. These parents are mentally aware of their child's self-will and connection between discipline and obedience. Okay? Authoritative parents, they understand that, you know, the kids have a self-will. You know, they have things that they want to do. They have things that they want to accomplish themselves. And so authoritative parents are in tune with the fact that their kids may not want to do what they want to do. Okay? I never forced my son. I was crazy about basketball coming up. That was my passion. But guess what? I didn't make my kids play basketball like I did. Some parents do that. They live their dreams and hopes through their kids. But authoritative parents, they don't. They let their kids, you know, determine what it is that they want to do. What is their, you know, what is the thing that they like doing? What is their interest? All right? That's authoritative parenting. They are also mindful of the importance of fostering children's individuality and their self-regulation. They want their kids to be able to manage themselves. Okay? In a way, we guide them, we teach them, okay, but we do that because we want our kids to be able to know how to make the right decision. We want our kids to be able to know that if they do certain things, it's going to lead them down a road that they don't want to go down. Okay? So these parents, you know, they're in tune with that. They want their kids to be able to self-regulate. All right? That's what this authoritative parenting. Their parents are more nurturing and forgiving in their disciplinary methods rather than punitive. Okay? They're nurturing. You know, a lot of people like to say, you know, the Bible says that spare the rod, spoil the child. So a lot of parents, when I was coming up, they thought that rod meant that you beat the heck out of your kids. Okay, you take that rod and you beat them, and they thought, you know, that's what that was talking about. All right, but as we learn, as we start studying that day and time, we know that the rod was used to guide the sheep or the herd and keep them in the right place. And back in that time, it was sheep. So when the sheep, because everybody know how a herd do, because y'all been, you know, y'all studied the Western civilization and stuff like that, the Cowboys, right, and the herds. You know how they had the herds? And the herds would all be in one line, right? And if one got out of line, okay, that's what they would use the rod for. They would use the rod to stick it out there to make the herd get back in line. And all they had to do was stick it out there, and you know, the sheep would know that I need to move back over. Okay, so it was really a guiding stick. Okay, it was really a guiding stick. So it was never really meant for your parents just to beat you all the time. You know, it was meant to be a guide. That's what we're supposed to do. We have to guide you guys. All right? And this is what authoritative parents understand, that we are the guides. Okay? We got to guide y'all. We have to show y'all models of what it is that we want you to do. If we want you to be a good person, we have to model that. If we don't want you to cheat, we have to model not cheating. If we don't want you to cheat on your income taxes, we have to model that. Okay? If we don't want you to just tell white lies to get over, then we don't tell white lies. Okay? These parents are assertive, but not intrusive and restrictive. Okay, they're assertive. You can have assertive power, okay, without being intrusive. Okay? Without being intrusive and without being restrictive. All right, you can do that. I do that all the time. You know, I don't have to scream and yell all the time. Okay, you guys know when I just say, hey, successful people don't do that, right? Y'all understand what I mean when I say that. Okay, what's the rule for dealing with each other? Hold on, I'm just saying. You guys know what I mean because I've taught you guys the rule and we go over it all the time. You know the guidelines, so all I have to do is remind you of the guidelines that we set forth in the classroom. Okay, now, and this is a big one. This is a big one. Authoritative parents, they avoid parent-child conflicts by focusing on the family goals. They avoid power struggles. Guess what some teachers do a lot of times with you guys? They get into power struggles. Anybody know what a power struggle is? What is a power struggle? Yes.
That is like power struggle is like that.
Okay, that's all right. But this is what it looks like. How many of you guys have had teachers, they ask you to do something, and then they get mad, and they get all up in your face, and they're yelling at you? How many have teachers that's done that? They get all in your face, and they yell at you, right? And then you look at them and get an attitude. Okay, what is that? That's a power struggle. That's a power struggle. Okay, hold on. But authoritative parents understand that they don't have to get in a power struggle with kids, because a lot of teachers get in trouble with that, because some kids learn how to manipulate, and they know that the teacher is going to do that. They know the teacher's reaction, so they do things just to get their reaction, so they can go home and tell their mama, you know, oh, she was all up in my face. Okay, but authoritative parents understand that we don't get into power struggle with kids. They know the rules. See, because we spend a lot of time modeling and teaching them what the rules and guidelines of in the house, and so all we have to do is say, hey, how do we do that, son? Okay? What do we do when we go to school? And we teach them, and we model to them the guidelines for that. So we don't have to do all that power struggle. Okay? What do? You listen to the teacher in school. What do? You work hard in the classroom. Okay? Yes?
I remember when I was in third grade, my teacher broke my bowl, Mr. Ernest, and I got mad and I started cussing him.
Right.
And then that's when my mom asked him why he broke my bowl.
Right. And see, that's the example of a power struggle. That's the example of a power struggle.
One time, the teacher, we were making pops in bowls, but I'm not getting into his situation. I'm talking about the pot. She broke the pot, and I was like, can you? And then I really got mad and started throwing everything that was in my classroom, and started throwing at her. And my mom went off.
Right. And so hold on, that's what I'm saying. Let Caleb.
Mr. Ernest hit me with his phone on my
Wow.
phone.
Wow.
So I had to get really mad. So I threw some chairs on the table, and I was really super mad.
Right. And so we know what that means. That's why authoritative parents don't get into those power struggles. And even, teachers shouldn't get into those power struggles with kids either. Because again, if you do your work on the front end and make sure that you explain the guidelines and rules and how we do things in the classroom, in the cafeteria, in the hallway, if we do our job there, basically all we have to do is say to the kid is, how do we line up in the hallway? Okay? And all you have to do is respond and say, hey, I got to be looking forward. Why do we look forward? Because success is in front of us, it's not behind us. Okay? That's what I teach these kids in this classroom. We look forward because success is that way. Okay? We don't want to keep looking back because we can't look back and get forward because we can run into too many things. Okay, so that's what authoritative parents do a good job of doing that. Okay? They avoid power struggles with their kids. Okay? And teachers need to do the same thing. Okay. Also, the rules are not just given, but explained to the children to help them see the value of having to establish these rules. So, authoritative parents just don't say, hey, you do this because I said do it. Okay, the rules are explained. The rules are explained. And that's how we do in the classroom. We explain the rules so that you'll know why we do the things that we do. Okay? And that's what parents, authoritative parents, The best parenting method is to do that, is to explain to your kids why you don't want them to do that. Okay? Why? You running. Stop that running in the house. Why? Because, hey, son, you can hurt yourself. Okay? So we explain to them, we just don't say, because I said so. Because we want our kids to be able to explain themselves. Okay? We want them to be able to articulate why they do certain things as well. Okay? So, they explain to them the rules that they have. Also, they give positive consequences and praises for actions. Okay? Authoritative parents give positive consequences and praise for when you do good things. Now, this is how I told my daughters. I say, look, this is how you train your son to go to the bathroom, right? Because a lot of people think, don't do that, a lot of people think that, you know, when they make a mistake, you just get angry at them and you spank them and pop them or whatever. You don't even have to do that. Basically, let me show y'all how to potty train a baby. Listen, this is how you do it. When the baby goes to the restroom, okay, you take them to the restroom, right? And you show them how to do it. And once they do it on their own, guess what you do? You make a big deal out of it. You say, oh, look at him, he did it. Wow. And then guess what? The baby's going to get all excited. And then the next time, they're going to want that same kind of praise again. And so what they're going to do? They're going to go to the restroom and do it. And then what you say? Oh, yay! Good job! And guess what? He's going to feel all gooey and goosebumped again, right? And so he's going to want to do it over and over and over again. That's how you get them to do it. And authoritative parents understand that. Okay, now, as a result of authoritative parenting, this is what happens. Children tend to be happy and successful in life throughout middle and high school because they learn to set the goals they want to strive for and accomplish. Okay? That's what we found out. These children tend to be happy and more successful in life, especially in middle school and high school. And that's why if you get it there, you know, it's a great chance that you're going to be able to get it and be successful for the rest of your life. Okay? Authoritative parenting. That's what these kids do. They tend to be more successful and happy. Also, children are able to display good decision-making and problem-solving skills, and typically they grow up to be responsible adults who are able to verbally express their thoughts and opinions. That's what we want our kids to be able to do, to articulate